Yes, let's
terms.
keep it as civil as possible.
Civil is that possible?
Yes. Yes.
Being questionably unhinged.
Well, I suppose you could be speaking about yourself, but I frankly don't see, neither of us being unhinged. I would say that we are completely normal, regular salt of the earth, run of the mill guys.
Sure you do. That's a persona. Look, we are questionably unhinged. That's the topic. How
Yeah.
it started. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? We're not.
But you immediately agreed on that a few months ago. I remember that very clearly. I'm at my new job. I'm struggling with the role I'm doing. Mentally.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but like on the topic, on the verge of like really questioning what I'm doing with my corporate life. And that was already when it was a month or so into my YouTube gaming journey. Being a product owner in tech, in big tech, basically, like for where we are now, you would agree. The company that I work is big tech.
Yes. It's significant.
It's significant. It's not groundbreaking. It's not Tesla. It's not Microsoft, but it's big.
Well, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully, yeah. And I'm in a quite good role. Product owner, doing IT stuff. Pay is quite good. It's not amazing, but it's quite good. It's stressful as shit.
As it should be.
Well, there goes the YouTube sanctions. Not saying in a first 5 minutes a swear word.
We'll fix it in prod.
I.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I fix it in prod. And then I will explain what I'm doing at that day and that current moment and how the idea came to me. Because I will probably say I am the godfather of the idea. I created the idea and I texted you the idea. And then when I was in a chat GPT creating my thumbnails for my YouTube gaming videos. Because I am really bad at creative stuff. Like visual design and stuff. Like I'm really bad at that. I can use Photoshop, but barely. I'm more of a back kind of tech guy, product owner, not really a visualization. Jesus, tell that 3 times fast. Visualizations guy. So
I get that. I get that. I mean, from my perspective, the only good design work I did was, something that said Followo, drerrams.
That's gonna be a thumbnail of our first video. First podcast. Like it's not a video. We're not filming.
Yeah, and I think there's also the image. I still have the image, so I will forward.
Yeah, I will put this in post. The image that we're talking. Followo drerrams.
Yes.
Horrible English, horrible image, horrible borders.
Yes.
That's an unhinged thing. Let's come back to that later. But
yes.
Following my journey, I'm doing my ChatGPT created YouTube thumbnails for my gaming videos that I'm doing. And I've been doing that. I wanted that to do for 10 years or so, but then only like 9 months, 6 months ago, I really started doing that with a crappy headset. Yeah. Not crappy, it's still serious, but still, the microphone is not fit for recording purposes by any chance. So I got myself a pod mic, I got myself an XLR interface, and everything. I'm creating the thumbnails for the upcoming video that I'm doing, recording or editing at that moment. And I'm sitting like, I hate my job. I hate the role that I'm doing. I'm not happy. It's corporate life. I don't really like that at all. The politics, the everything. Like I'm thinking of some. I'm effing unhinged guy. I like dark humor. I'm unhinged. I should start a podcast. And then wait, I'm not the only guy that is questionably or criminally sometimes unhinged. And you are the only guy in the. There is another guy. I have to be fair. There is another guy.
I will not implicate myself. So please, refrain from labeling me criminally unhinged because I am not. I'm not sure if I'm even questionably unhinged, if unhinged at all.
Really?
Yes.
The thumbnail in question, the picture that you created. Would you say that UX guys that we worked together with think the same about you as your stance right now? Do you remember the guy? We will not say his name.
Yes.
The director of UX where we worked at. What he said.
Well, at first he was like, "Oh yeah, that's nice," and then I invited him to look closer, and I saw his face change in an almost imperceptible manner. Smile faded from his face.
No, he basically frowned and left. That's how I remember.
I think before leaving, he said something akin to "you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he left.
There was that. Yeah.
And he avoided coming to our corner from that day until we all left the company.
Yeah, when he left the company, he didn't even say bye.
To you.
The audacity of the guy.
To you, the unhinged backhander.
I am... Okay, we will come back to that later.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm not the only one. And I'm kind of afraid to do a podcast on my own because I don't want to be in this, hamster wheel, enforcing my own beliefs and then being angry and just, being the old guy syndrome.
I mean, that makes sense. You have to have an echo chamber. You have someone to echo back your ideas to you.
Yeah, my ideas to me, exactly.
Yeah.
My own little echo chamber.
Yes.
And you're saying not unhinged, but the facts are like you are at least questionably unhinged. And then I text you, hey, do you want to have a podcast? And say, yeah, maybe, something in the terms like that. And then I'm saying like, it's questionably unhinged. It's both of us talking to microphones. Our stuff that we do in your garage normally from time to time, like once a month probably, sometimes less, sometimes more.
Just to interject.
And you jumped in the boat.
Just to interject here, so our listeners don't get the wrong idea, right? So it's not sexual most of the time.
Well, physically not.
Yes. Yes, that's a good,
There's nothing sexual mentally between us. Yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you jumped on board with one message. I mean, hell yeah. I think that's an exact quote.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I sent you a ChatGPT generated poster and an avatar for the channel.
Yep.
And what did you say then?
That's us.
Hell yeah.
That's us. Yes.
Yeah. 2 months later, we have a janky as hell setup with 2 XLR interfaces going each into another, like really sexually. And then into one Linux PC.
It's more of a human centipede kind of way.
Yeah. XLR centipede kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, those companies, right? It's their fault. It's not us being unhinged, but to buy extra licenses and extra stuff. So just so you can have 2 microphones on different channels is a bit fucked up, isn't it?
Like only because Microsoft or Linux doesn't support 2 audio interfaces coming at once?
You have to buy an extra license, I suppose, for that. Because the hardware sure can. And I'm pretty sure if I do some Linux kernel hacking, I can make the shit work.
Yeah, I guess so. But like we are janky.
We're janky as
So you're still on the same stance that you're not unhinged.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean...
And you're saying that if we are unhinged, if you are unhinged, it's the company's fault in general. It's like the corporations that you work in?
Okay. First of all, that would require me to admit that I'm unhinged, which I'm not. And secondly, of all, it's the world's fault that it's gone insane, and I'm the only person that's still retaining some resemblance of sanity.
Being you the only person resembling any kind of sanity.
Yes.
The only one. Like, I know there are a lot of guys like that locked up.
Well, I mean, skill issue.
So you're just avoided being taken down into forced custody?
I'm very good at that. I'm very good at that. I did the autism test.
You did autism test?
Yeah. I self-administered it. I didn't go to the professional. What am I, stupid? No. I self-administered the autism test that it's scientifically sound, and it's been published on some scientific journal. It has been peer reviewed and what have you.
Is it what, autism.com?
No, something other. I don't really remember neither the name nor the page, but it looked like a true scientific instrument.
Looked like elaborate, please. It's the first time I know you, and I know you for what? Coming to 5 years, 4 years that we know each other, and maybe 2 years, 2.5 years that we kind of know each other a bit closer, like becoming some kind of resemblance of a friend.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I'm hearing about autism test that you took. I know about the other test, the ADHD one.
Oh, that one as well. Yes. That autism test was later.
Oh, so you first took the ADHD test?
Yes. I do exhibit some traits, yes.
As I was told by you, and you were told by your therapist.
Yeah.
That you exhibit traits of ADHD.
Yes.
And then you took a test.
Yes.
Presumably, you gave the test results to your therapist.
I did.
And then you self-administrated an autism test.
Yes, I did.
So that was
also the masking test.
So that's, if I'm correct, that's around, we're talking about a period of 5 months ago that was happened, in between 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Because the winter was barely starting when you said that you're exhibiting ADHD traits.
Yes.
And then administering yourself an ADHD test.
Yes.
Recommended by a therapist.
No, it wasn't really recommended. My friend did one, and she said, like, oh, that explains at least some things in my life. And then I thought, talking about explaining things in your life, maybe that would explain some things in my life as well. Like, why is nobody ever flirting with me? Apparently, that's also a sign of autism.
Like having EBGBs, like sociopaths, like have their aura, like people don't like being around them. That's the only thing that I can think of.
No.
I think I know quite a lot of people showing autism traits that have girlfriends. You have a girlfriend, or
yeah,
not?
Yeah.
So that's a purely non-flirting relationship.
No, I mean, I suppose she does have to get pretty obvious with me, and I sometimes have to get pretty obvious with her.
Yes, and you were married before. You're a successful divorcee.
Well, if you can, consider divorce a success, yes.
Yeah. So you're saying nobody's flirting with you?
Nope.
There's at least 2 people, for a fact, that at least had to have some kind of flirting involved with you.
That's the thing, right? So
maybe
you would imagine that these things, like getting married or getting a girlfriend, require flirting. You know someone, you start flirting, you get into a relationship, and so on and so forth, right? But apparently that's optional. You can skip flirting altogether.
You know what?
Straight into relationship.
You know what? I think I have a better explanation. And that would explain the other trait that you might have of autism. Because you're putting, like, people don't flirt with people having autism traits, which sounds kind of crazy because it's such a huge spectrum. And I think the other trait would be that you might possess, which, by the way, to everybody that's listening, neither of us is any kind of professional.
Nowhere even close.
Nowhere even close. We are, at the moment, recording this first pilot podcast of Questionably Unhinged in a Soviet blocked garage that is connected into one bigger one. So basically, in a single bay American style garage sort of way. There is a fireplace, there is a kitchen cabinet, there is a PC and full-on workstation here, and a 1991 Honda Legend parked not even at 1 meter from my right shoulder.
And
you're sitting,
and you skipped four speakers because I like music.
4 speakers, 3 bus seats, one motorcycle, loads of other kind of equipment here, and it's nothing resembling clean or sophisticated. Anything that you see in any kind of video that anybody posts about their garage on YouTube.
I can find all the stuff that I need here.
Of course you do.
It's not. Well, it's a bit cluttered at points, but it all has a system. I realize how crazy that sounds as I say it.
It's crazy. I believe it that everything has a system. Like, I know, I believe you that you know that every piece of little thing is here what it's supposed to be, where it's supposed to be.
More or less.
More or less, yes. So we are sitting in a Soviet garage that's been retrofitted with tiled floors, quality of life improvements. Also, I just noticed right now there is a what I imagine is a microbus or let's say short bus that you definitely would be in America in your childhood if you were raised in America, not post-Soviet country. Just putting that out there. There is a, how do you say that in English? It's a exhaust pipe hanging on the ceiling of this place.
Absolutely normal.
And it's quite new, actually. So you're replacing your short bus's exhaust system. It's janky. And we have one PC, two XLR interfaces going from one to each other, and basically talking to right and left channels that I will have to edit in post.
Yep.
I present you an idea of Questionably Unhinged. You jump immediately on the boat, and you're starting spinning all kinds of weird shit that we are probably not sharing until, I don't know, episode 50, let's say, we can have a goal of sharing our internal messages to some extent.
Oversharing is also a sign of autism, by the way.
Well, I'm definitely showing that rate, as said per my colleagues. Not once, but
I have actually noticed that when we first met and started talking, and suddenly I find myself downstairs having a smoke and telling you the things that my therapist said, while you tell me the things that your therapist said.
That was actually quite after we started to get along. Like, okay, we can tell people how we met. How I met my autism partner, basically. A very short series that have no recording and only an audio track. So basically how we met. I joined a company that you worked already in. I joined customer support department. I worked with supervising platforms that they used and doing some kind of in-house automations and all that. And then I decided to move into the product stuff, a product manager side. So basically move into IT, your domain. And you at that point were a tech lead for...
I was an engineering manager.
Engineering manager. Tech lead. People call them tech leads where I work now, so pardon me.
Well, it changes every few years just to keep things fresh. So people are in the same positions, but they feel something subtly change. They're not tech leads, they're managers now. Can you smell the mahogany? Can you smell the corner office in that title? Because I did.
The backender smelled the corner office?
Yes.
The guy, the backender at that point, becoming an engineering manager.
Exactly. Well, it's not being...
Administrating itself, future you, administering yourself, ADHD tests and autism tests. Smelled a corner office. You're not Elon Musk, man. You're not that crazy, and you're not that rich.
Another thing, going on tangents is also an autism trait.
So you're just purely admitting that you are questionably unhinged.
No, I'm saying that I might be exhibiting signs of autism, and that doesn't make me unhinged at all.
On top of that, you have ADHD, which is 180 degrees probably diagnosis from each other, autism and ADHD.
Like in what space are you operating? Because they are parallel. They can be parallel.
I know they can be parallel, but from the behavioral perspective, it's a bit more 180. Like they are not the same straight.
Well,
it's not
I
like
probably wouldn't say that. I mean, as an ADHD person, you can get bouts of hyperfocus where you lose track of time, lose yourself in the game, to quote some famous rapper. And that is also an autistic trait. You can spend your days and weeks in trains while the dishes pile up in the sink.
Yeah, we're moving to the topic being psychological podcast, which we're definitely not qualified in. I'm
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, if anybody goes to listen to podcast that's called Questionably Unhinged and expects sound psychological advice, that's on them. That's definitely on them. That's not our fault. We have stated previously that we are not professionals.
Yes, but, and this might sound crazy to you or like to anybody, like I think that's doing the influencing stuff, which we are not that.
Oh, we're influencing.
But
kids get autistic. It's really fun.
No, I'm just saying that we should take accountability of what we say.
Absolutely. Cool. I mean, in everyday life, you should take accountability and responsibility for what you say.
So yeah,
and what you do.
So whoever is listening, and I don't believe it's many people.
Mom was gonna be excited.
I'm not showing that to anybody in my family.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, you shouldn't too.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Not your girlfriend. I said to mine, I'm not showing that to you unless you find it on accident.
I mean, what I said to mine was, I'm doing air quotes right now. We are doing a project.
A project.
A project.
You didn't say to her that you're doing a podcast or trying to do podcast. I think we're trying. We're not doing.
Well, I would say that we are doing, not trying right now. Yeah, I didn't tell her that. It would be so embarrassing to screw this up. And come to her and see the disappointment in her eyes. You tried. She has a trophy. You tried.
You're afraid of losing, of not succeeding?
I'm terrified of failure.
Terrified of failure.
Terrified of failure. The only thing that's worse than failure is absolute failure, I suppose.
What is an absolute failure?
Dying.
Is dying a failure?
Well, yes.
In which sense dying is a failure?
Well, you have failed at life. You are dead now.
Did you fail at life if you're dead?
For the past, several decades, I have succeeded at life. In terms of, not dying.
In terms of not dying. That's the lowest bar I heard.
Well, yes. Yes, that's why, dying is an absolute failure.
Okay, I'm afraid to go into this topic. So maybe let's strafe away from that for a time being.
Yeah, let's just back away slowly, keeping eye contact with our exit strategies and
yes, exactly. Let's not go there.
Yes,
at least for now.
Yes. Well, coming back to the topic, I think that you might have something there, with an unhinged thing. But I'm not entirely sold, but I kind of start seeing your point.
You starting to see the point that you're unhinged?
I could be perceived as unhinged.
Oh yeah, you can. I know. Yes,
that doesn't make me unhinged. You don't get to define who I am. Nobody does.
Fair point. But coming back to where we started working together, so I'm doing my stuff there in the customer support department. You had a dog. I think you still have it. I don't know how the divorce, whether the dogs went.
Which one?
The one that did duty in our space. The younger one, I believe.
The younger one. Yeah, I don't have that one.
Okay.
I don't have the one. That one went to my ex-wife. I still have the old dog, the 17-year-old.
Dogs don't live that much.
Well, I'm buying her a beer on her 21st.
A beer.
A beer.
You're buying a beer, so we're talking about animal abuse.
Well, she's of legal age.
Yeah, but she's still a dog.
All dogs enjoy beer.
To what extent?
To the extent that they drink it. I've seen dogs drink beer.
I've seen, but that qualifies as an animal abuse. And me, as a cat daddy, I disapprove, and I think you should change your mind.
Fair enough. Okay,
They are not doing that on a free will, knowing that they will be tipsy.
Inebriated. Yes, I agree. So I suppose a non-alcoholic then.
Now we can kind of agree. Like, it's still probably hop's not really good for dogs, but it has no alcohol, so I wouldn't qualify that kind of as an animal abuse.
Well, I suppose, when this goes live, there will be comments on that, probably. So please engage.
If we're lucky.
We will get lucky. I mean, I think your mom will definitely leave a comment.
I'm not showing that to her. And also, we might get lucky. You did got lucky 2 times at least. You had a wife and you have a girlfriend.
Fair enough. I mean, it also depends on the perspective, doesn't it?
Getting lucky?
Yes.
Like, yeah, your wife definitely didn't got lucky. And your girlfriend probably isn't lucky too.
Thank you. You're a true friend.
Isn't that what friends are about?
Yes, just casual abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's how, at least in our country, the friendship goes.
Yeah,
between men.
Yeah, I mean it's a Slavic post-Soviet generational trauma that boils down to if they hit you, they love you. If they didn't care, they wouldn't hit you, they wouldn't abuse you.
Yeah, that's a sad topic, but that's a true story for anybody that's not coming from post-Soviet countries or blocks, whatever, like normal people, European.
Yeah, those Westerners.
Yeah, Western people, basically, we're talking about. Like, we have a saying in our language: if he hits you, he loves you. And that's coming from the Soviet occupation times.
Yep.
When
the good thing, the good stuff of Soviet occupation, you learn shit like that.
Yeah, and then boys don't cry.
Boys
don't share their emotions.
No, but that's also a Western thing, isn't it?
But not to an extent.
I mean, the things are changing. Definitely.
Oh, they are getting good.
I mean, girls are allowed to play with toy trucks, and boys are allowed to cry under severe pain.
Severe pain. Yeah, it's getting better. You are allowed to cry on a severe pain.
Yes. Like I saw a YouTube short some time ago, some days ago, where a person got voluntarily stung by some ants that produce the worst pain imaginable, and
the African ones or South American, something like
that.
Something like that.
And the guy has spent a day or 24 hours or so in an excruciating pain, and I read upon that pain, and apparently some tribes somewhere use those ants as a passage of right. So,
or manhood, no? Like they are skinny dipping in that?
I think they're doing something like that. And in order to be a man, you have to endure this pain. And you have to do it not once, not twice, but some crazy amount, like 12 times.
Should we add the link? I think we're adding the link to the description. We're posting the
if I can
source.
Find it. If I can find it.
You must find it now. Yeah, you must find. You're talking about it. You must find it.
Yeah, I mean that's called being accountable and responsible for the stuff you say.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
So, third time, coming back to the topic of how we met.
I swear we will finish that story today. We have to.
We must.
Yes.
So yeah, your dog does a doo-doo. I film it and I create a meme out of it. So I think that was one of the first interactions that we had, and you came to clean it. And then I moved to product, which is the other side of the building that we're at, where the IT sits.
Yep.
And we find ourselves sitting at the same corner, which is demonstrating the other autistic traits. You're sitting in the very most corner of the office where nobody can see your screen and nobody can walk behind you. And I'm one desk over.
It's called safe space, man.
Yeah, exactly. So we start sitting together. And me being a product manager at that time, and you being engineering manager, you were
managers.
Yeah.
Oh, can you feel how it rolls off your tongue? Manager.
I hate that word. So
fair enough.
You have your best friend, your product manager, because that's how tech works and startups do. I have my own engineering manager, so we are BFFs with him. He's somewhere in other Soviet bloc country. And yours are in a different town, but she comes to visit from time to time.
Yeah.
And then we're speaking in the office, and then we're having jokes. And then you are going or trotting through the office, talking with her, and I'm sitting doing my work or pretending to do my work. I don't know. Like, I think at that time I was still doing my work. And you're just mumbling to yourself and to her that you're missing screws and you're going to buy screws because you're missing screws, implying that you are not okay mentally, and laughing. And then I join into conversation. Yeah, I see you're missing screws. You need to buy a few.
I think I was talking about my motorcycle or something like that.
Yeah, you were missing screws for your motorcycle, but you were implying that you're missing screws mentally. Like not having your marbles here, like using your marbles.
Yeah. I mean, I really did have a few screws loose, right? That's
you still have.
I almost lost a few parts of my bike because of those screw loose.
Afterwards, so, yeah, you did.
Technically, I was in the right.
Technically, you were in the right. So then, a few months pass by. We find ourselves smoking quite constantly outside.
Yep.
Talking about my therapist said that, and your therapist said that.
Yep.
The funny thing is, I will come back to this topic a bit later. So we were doing that, and then you also had a crash on your bike that you didn't use your right arm for a few months. That was around that point.
Oh, it took me a year to, be able to lift it over my head.
Yeah. Like, we did finish that topic, actually, how we met. Yeah, also, we have to mention that, like, we were smoking together, and then that director that we talked about, the UX guy, looking at your poster, horrible poster that you did.
It took effort.
Yeah, we did find ourselves laughing at that, and I think I gave the idea, or at least suggested that in a way to post it up on the flat screen TV that was hanging in our corner for whole company to see.
Yep.
And the funny part is that it was so horrible, and we found it. I think we were the mainly two guys that found it funny in the whole office.
Oh, there were other guys.
There were, but I think we were the.
We had the most fun, probably.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that it was pointed directly into the first entrance to the office where everybody came in, basically, and the first thing they see is that flat screen TV with that picture
with
for every day,
with mangled English,
and the horrible design for what 9 months, 6 months,
9 months, I think.
Yeah. CEO including co-founders, including founders, co-founders, CEO, all the guys.
Nobody objected, aside from the UX director.
Yeah.
But even then, he didn't come to us and say, "Take that shit down."
No, nobody did that. Some other your developers actually came and then put on some kind of Christmassy stuff around that, which I was not approving of.
That was after I left.
No. Oh, you did bring it back, because before I left, it was other stuff. There was Christmassy stuff, and
I left in July.
Well, I left in before New Year that year. So you left after me. You left next year, or no? I left just after New Year's. Yeah, I did, because I remember that. I
must have not gone to the office for for months at that point, because I would have remembered probably.
Yeah, you were missing quite a lot. At that point, you were missing quite a lot. But you actually weren't also, because at that point, we had already the new engineering directors that you were working on some kind of auth authorization, auth to or whatever stuff.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh, that's giving me flashbacks.
Bad ones, I hope.
Always.
Yeah. So that's around like 2023. No, that's 2024. Just after the New Year's, I leave. So you must have brought it back, that picture, after I left.
I definitely should have. I don't remember if I did.
Yeah. So and you left on then in summer because just before summer, just before summer, I found myself a new job, and then you left on during the summer.
Yeah,
so that was not very long lived.
Well, it depends. It depends. I mean, some butterflies live a day.
Yeah.
So it was like hundreds worth of butterflies. If you apply this conversion, if you can apply this conversion.
If you think it like that, it's a long time. Yeah. But in a span of a human lifetime. And
it depends. It depends. It depends. again. It depends on where you're born, how you're born, and when you're born. Like if you're in medieval Europe, probably your lifespan is not that long. If you are not making it
average.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess like for you to make like 5 years, like it's I think like
if you make 5 years, good chances to make it to 70 or so.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah.
On the statistics of the medieval Europe.
Yeah.
Fun times.
You know.
Wouldn't go there.
They don't make times like that anymore.
Oh, thankfully.
Black Death. Oh.
Okay. Siberia and Russia is probably not far away from Dark Ages.
Famines all around, lack of potatoes and what have you.
Well, lack of potatoes was a very long time ago.
And for a very long time, because they were, as far as I remember, brought back from the new continent.
They were brought back, and they were raised as flowers, I believe.
Yes.
In the palaces at that point.
Yeah, and a funny story of how it got adopted as something you can eat was, some king tried it. It was apparently not that bad, and he tried to force it upon his subjects. Eat potatoes, and everyone's like, "Who you potatoes, brother, you?" And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this the other way. I'm gonna put a fence over the potato field. I'm gonna post a guard, and forbid anyone to take my potatoes."
Is that the true story?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Cool. So presumably, then it was stolen, and people liked potatoes because it was a forbidden fruit.
Yes. That's how Europe works. You have to steal things in order for them to have value.
That sounds fun, or like truth, like enough of the truth, I believe.
Yeah,
for me to believe it.
But it's a good story.
It's a good story. Life has to have good stories.
Yes. We humans are story-based creatures.
Yeah, and your story is not that you are not unhinged.
Absolutely. The most perfectly normal, salt of the earth, run-of-the-mill guy.
Okay, but putting jokes aside, what do you think makes you unhinged? Like, if you could you define traits that would make you unhinged, and why?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I might seem strange to people. I don't necessarily do things the conventional way.
Like the office space that you like this garage that we're doing the podcast. It also serves as your work environment.
Yes, I work from here. I find the presence of car in my office calming.
I'm a car guy myself. I get that purely. Like, I would love to have this kind of a garage space.
What about an office space like that? I bet you would like one as well.
Yes. Are you proposing for me to move in?
Are we at that stage of our relationship?
To work from the garage together?
It sounds exciting.
It definitely does.
Okay. Let's take this offline. This is a topic better discussed in private.
In private, yeah. Let's do that in private. Fully clothed.
Yeah. So I've always considered myself a hacker of sorts. I strived to have the hacker mentality, and in a sense that not doing a shoddy work like a hack job, but rather thinking and doing things unconventionally as long as they produce a desired result.
And you call that not doing a shoddy work?
Yeah, I mean,
you propose
things can be quite sturdy and quite rigid, even if they don't look that good.
Yeah, and also when my team or my product needed something done or a service done by your product, you were insistent on doing that service or microservice in Bash.
So
quite a few times.
So,
which is, in my lack of backend knowledge, is a crazy idea, because I confirmed that with other Java developers in the different companies, saying that I have a friend that always suggested doing a microservice in Bash.
Well, I also wrote a Bash framework because it's as good a language as any. Right? It has control flow. You can write ifs in that. It has loops. You can do a for loop. You can do a while loop. You can do whatever kind of loop you like.
Like a Kaminsky logo.
Like, it's Turing complete, man. What do you want?
Like a
it's not the fastest language. It's not the most elegant language, but it gets the stuff done. And you know, if you know how to use it, it's basically having a hammer and living in the world of nails. You have a hammer, you can do anything.
Yeah, like a Kaminsky logo. Like, the features that you described are inherent in Kaminsky logo. Coding language. Coding, let's in air quotes call it coding language. And for anybody not living in Europe or our part of Europe, Kaminsky logo is a drawing application that has something resemblance of coding in it to teach 5th graders to code basics.
Yes, instead of cursor, you have a turtle.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't see how that invalidates the language.
So, okay, one, that's few unhinged. How did you call it? Like, traits that you possess? What are the others? Because if these are the two that you have, you definitely have more.
Well, I don't think I do. I know. I'm a regular guy.
Can I give you an example?
You can try.
You are an chief architect.
Well, that is what the label says.
Yes.
But it's not true.
You are actually labeled or doing the work as
some of the work.
Chief architect.
Well, yes.
What do you do in your pastime? As I said, we are sitting a 1 meter away from pristine 9091 Honda Legend V6 gasoline manual. Yes, in a pristine condition, like a poster. Well, it needs a wash, but it's off season.
Yes.
So you have that.
I also have a Subaru Impreza.
Exactly where I wanted to go. Thank you for yourself uncovering the way for me. You also have a 1998 Subaru Impreza wagon.
That's a 2001, but that doesn't change things.
Okay.
It's a bug eye.
It's a bug eye 2001 Subaru Impreza 1.6.
1.8.
1.8.
Sorry. What am I even speaking? That's untrue. That's a 2-liter, 92 kilowatt, 94 kilowatt
Subaru Impreza.
Yes.
Yes. You being a chief architect, you decided to weld the arches from their pure rust. Have never ever welded before. You had some, as I remember, a few lessons from a guy that does.
Yes.
And you did it alone in your garage, and you set your wheel on fire.
I didn't set my wheel on fire. There was just some. I was trying to fill in a gap, and I overdid it with a filler, and the paint caught fire
on the wheel.
On the arc.
On the arch.
On the arch, yes.
Arch, whatever.
Yeah. So, but in my defense, I had a fire extinguisher next to me.
You know how lucky you are? I was recently told about a guy. Also, I was giving your story away about my friend that I have that tried to do that on his car. And one of my colleagues said, I know a guy that was shot by the wheel doing the same. Do you know how lucky you are to have survived that?
I don't think I had the wheel on.
Well, it was laying near.
It was.
I came to visit, I think that day or a few days after, and the car was in the same condition after being welded. So you could have blown yourself or shot yourself with the car wheel.
I find that highly unlikely.
Apparently it's really dangerous to do welding stuff near inflated tires.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and it never occurred to you.
No, I mean, why should it?
Yeah, exactly. Flame, compressed air, wheel, stuff goes flying everywhere at 2.4 bars.
Well, you might have a point. You might have a point.
And then after you proceeded to weld your arches, which I mind you is a very visually distorted and shoddy job, you always proceed.
It's very good.
You always proceed to take a hammer and whack your arch with the hammer really hard, showing that it doesn't bend because you have too much filler and steel welded into that car.
Well, that's how you test that it has structural integrity.
Wheel arch.
Yes, structural
being
integrity.
bomb-proof.
Well, you're overinflating things.
Tell me how many times you whacked your arch near me to show a point.
Maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that it's a good job and you proceed to whack your car.
It was a good job, and I did whack my car.
Several times.
And if you want to get your Mayata fixed in the similar manner, you know where to go.
This is actually sad because I'm taking my Miata in a few months' time, hopefully, to this garage to have an engine swap with you.
Yeah, and we also take care of some of the rust.
We are not welding.
We are welding because welding is life.
No, I refuse to do that to that car.
Oh, come on. It's gonna be fine.
Let's entertain the idea. That's my unhinged thing.
Okay.
Also, we have your free, probably find out more in the series of this podcast, if it even survives this one episode. But my plan is to bring my 90, because I have a 1991 red Miata and Mazda MX-5 that I owned for 10 years probably now. I bought it for cheap, and now it's worth more than I could afford for a play car, which I own. So my car is unattainable to me, would be unattainable to me at this point of time. And I'm planning to take this car to this exact garage. Never did any kind of engine work myself. Never pulled an engine, never pulled a gearbox. I like to twist bolts and do some minor stuff on my car, my own. But that's like a very minor stuff, bigger than changing a bulb. But and I'm planning to, with no experience whatsoever, come to the guy that does shotty welding job, never have ever replaced an engine himself, and we are gonna tackle this project together.
And do some welding as well.
And apparently do some welding as well.
Thank you.
In the trunk of the car.
Yes. Near the fuel
tank, yes, is present in
I remember
in that quarter of the car.
I remember reading Honda Legend factory repair manual.
Oh yeah,
on how to replace the fuel pump, and I see a big warning that says do not smoke while trying to change the fuel pump, and immediately Soichiro Honda comes to mind, smiling, wrench in hand, cigarettes hanging from his lips, lit, smiling.
There is a reason.
Let's go and change that fuel pump.
Yeah, there is a reason why Japanese manufacturers do place this in their manuals, I believe. I don't want to find out what exact reason that is. But
well, they say the safety precautions are written in blood. The rules
yeah,
are written in
it's often
blood, but
said,
not
yes.
in this case. I think
Safety rules are written in.
I think in this case it's more of a charred meat thing than a blood thing.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. I think that there is a point of this podcast being called Questionably Unhinged.
Yeah, because you will be persistent to not be unhinged or not call yourself or be labeled as an unhinged person.
Yes.
I myself am a bit more truthful to myself, and I will say, like, yeah, I am questionably, maybe even undoubtedly for some, but even for myself, I'm questionably unhinged, because how would a guy having no engineering degree have finished economics bachelor degree or undergrad studies? I think that's it's called in like in other countries or English speaking countries. Have never welded, have never did anything in engineering. I would take on like swapping an engine. Thank God my car is not complicated. It probably has 6 connectors and 4 bolts holding that engine in.
It's not being unhinged, man. It's just run of the mill midlife crisis.
Yeah, midlife crisis. Let's talk about that. Which is also like, you know, the meme. There was an Instagram meme. I will not find it, but it was a very good Instagram reel. There is a guy spinning a wheel, and wheel, you know, that lucky wheels that the lotteries has.
Yep.
On that lottery, it's written after 30 or 33, or which I'm exactly after 33. So midlife crisis is coming up. You are what?
40.
40?
40.
Like, for how many years are you 40 now?
for almost a year, man.
Okay, it's not like forever 29 thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and it's was it Club 27?
Yeah, it is Club 27.
That's the only way of remaining at that age. You have to fail absolutely to remain of the same age forever.
As said, like, either way, coming back to the topic, like, we're midlife and that crisis, and the reel goes. There is a wheel. It has, if you're 30 or above, midlife is coming. You will spin the reel of fortune. One choice is buy a gravel bike, which is apparently a big topic for middle-aged guys for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't understand that. I don't like biking.
We should go biking sometimes. You will understand it.
I tried. I was on vacation. We did do a 20 kilometers ride. I don't like it. No. I like to sit comfortably. And that's why I take a public transport or a car.
Fair enough, but we will try. We will still try biking.
Motorized biking, motorcycles, maybe. But so you spin. The other choice is start becoming very healthy, cut sugar, gym, all like 100%, taking care of your full health.
Yeah.
And the third option is start a podcast. So we are an embodiment in that reel for middle-aged guys starting a podcast.
Shit. Well, I suppose so. I mean, that's probably better than getting a red convertible, isn't it?
Well, in my defense, I got my red convertible when I was 23, 24.
So here you have it, guys. Start your midlife crisis early.
Yeah, I finished my midlife crisis quite early. I bought a red convertible sports car roadster 1.6 when I was 23, 24. Actually, funny story. I was so poor at that point, and I needed a car, or wanted a car. I had a car, which was A-class Mercedes, like the notorious ones for rolling over when doing
and also catching fire.
And also catching fire, yeah. So I had that. My mom helped me buy it, and my mom and dad divorced, and my mom lives in quite a rural area. It's not a village or like it's a small town, but it's quite far off, and there is no public transport, like really or sustainably. And she has to commute to work every day. So I said, like, take this car. You help me buy it. I don't care. I can buy the other car again. So I'm going looking at cars, and somehow I always wanted a Miata. That's my top 5 cars of all time, and I find one for 2,000 euros, which was like a deal. It wasn't rusty. It was running great.
It was a steal, not a deal.
It wasn't a steal because at that point it already exhibited fuel smoke from the exhaust, like the blue one.
They made it like that in those years.
Well, they didn't, but that car soldiered on for 8 years of driving because 2 years were spent redoing the rust. That's quite another story. How my car was almost stolen or disappeared for
Japanese
2 years.
Car stuff.
Yeah, and so it soldiered on, but really soldiered on. I shift my gears at the red line, which for Europeans is abusing. But those engines, damn, they're healthy. Like, they like abuse. So only after 8 years of spirited driving, it started showing that smoke really, really badly. It might have to do something that I forgot to put oil in the car because it's burning it for 500 kilometers.
Oh, better compression.
If less, you mean better. So yeah, if less is more.
If you add some oil into the fuel mix.
Well, it's not that type of engine. You don't need it's shot at this point. So we will be taking this adventure of two guys, one car, one garage, and no expertise in engine swaps.
I can only see one outcome, and that is huge success.
I hope for that outcome too, and I'm hoping I will not get myself into debt. The funny story is like that I wanted to share is, I was poor at that time. Like I was living from salary to salary, no savings whatsoever.
It's simple millennial life.
Yeah, so I financed the car. I financed an old red sports car for 2,000 euros on not on a shark loan, thank God, but on a normal loan from a bank.
No, I mean it's called priorities.
Exactly. Thank God I paid that in time and have no missed payments. But I did finance the car, and now the car is probably worth around 10,000. Even though I spent 2,000 on the car, 3,000 on fixing the rust and doing rewelding and repainting the whole body, except the insides of the body, and now I'm doing the engine swap. And with all that, I should still be gaining or in green in matter of returned investments. That car is not an investment. I'm never selling that.
That's the thing. No, almost no car is an investment. The Subaru is also not an investment. Although I am pretty sure that I could make double over what I bought it for.
The Subaru.
Yeah, it's a very good condition.
Except your welding job.
It only makes it better.
By adding weight.
I get a kilo at most
in one arch, and you're probably re-welding more, I believe.
I will be eventually re-welding more.
And you're refusing to put a turbo on that car?
Yes, because I still have like 90,000 kilometers to go on that engine.
Because it's what, 500,000, and it's
no, it's only approaching 300,000. So
300,000.
I've replaced the timing belt, and since I did that, it was a major effort. I had some bruises from that when the sprocket moved unexpectedly while trying to get it into position because the rocker arm springs pushed it on my fingers. So having done this kind of effort, I really need to get another 100,000 of kilometers from it, just to have the moral satisfaction.
Fair point, but also an unhinged topic for you. How unhinged it is to take a major road trip with a 11-year-old car that somebody fixes themselves, having no engineering degree, does rewelding, and going on a major, like thousands of kilometers road trip.
Yes.
on a broken spring. Would you say that's unhinged? Because
It
you did that.
It wasn't the spring that was broken. It was actually the shock absorber that gave up, and I didn't really notice until I did.
Few
And
thousand kilometers in.
few thousand kilometers later, and and made some of I made those trips again with the same car, and I am still going to make a few trips like that again.
That's brave. That's brave.
I mean, I don't see a reason why it would be brave, because the car is in a good condition.
It's in a good condition, but it's old and anything old. Can break.
No, because it's in a good condition. I went through the major joints, and I have absolute confidence in that car.
Engine?
Absolutely fine. Doesn't burn any oil. Doesn't eat any coolant. All the major parts that could have failed, like the radiator, have failed already and were replaced. So it will go on for another 100,000 kilometers for sure.
Okay, I will quote then what's written on that car, because it's absolutely covered in stickers.
Yes, and also some decals I spray painted on.
Yes.
Again, not an artist, not a mechanic, not a painter.
And it has a Sharpie, or not
a Sharpie, yes.
A Sharpie phrase written on Godspeed, little shitbox.
It does.
That's your, I presumably an American colleague.
Yes.
Suggested putting that on.
Yes. So, I'm a member of on online community I'm a part of.
Yeah, so Godspeed, little shitbox. Hopefully it makes it, but that's pretty unhinged. Like, I wouldn't take my girlfriend on that road trip. Just being afraid it will die.
I would take your girlfriend on that road trip.
My girlfriend?
Together with you, if you so wish.
Well, if she's with you, so I wish to be a supervisory part.
The most important thing among friends is trust.
And we don't have that.
Nope, that's unhinged.
So on that topic, would you like to play a game? Is it unhinged? Let's see if that makes into the final cut.
Let's see. Let's go.
Corporate culture.
Depends on the corporation.
Elaborate.
So, well, basically you can have two kinds of culture, right? So toxic and non-toxic.
I would agree that any corporate culture is toxic.
I would say, like, I imagine that working in Meta is pretty toxic right now. As in Twitter. Oh, sorry, X.
X. Tesla.
It's an X Twitter.
Tesla,
same shit.
Microsoft.
They're unhinged for different reasons.
But still
unhinged.
Yes. Any Silicon Valley, basically.
Oh, tech bros. The only thing worse than tech bros is crypto bros.
Exactly. So, and then our country's corporate culture, major tech companies.
Like they try to project that they're friendly and inclusive and tolerant, but I've actually seen a leak of a swastika made out of LGBTQ plus flags posted on an internal Slack channel.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I don't believe that there is at this moment any kind of not toxic corporate culture, unless we're speaking about really, really small companies.
Well, I try to see the best in people. I really do. It's really hard
people
sometimes.
Are good. No, people are okay. I'm talking culture.
And like, there is a company that is founded by women, is funded by women. They specialize in compliance. I think that corporation could have.
How many people is it?
Up to 50.
Yeah, small company.
Small company.
True. Yeah, not corporate.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like profit chasing, not looking at people.
I mean, everything's acceptable as long as the quarterly earnings look good.
Yeah, exactly. And then not creating a culture where inclusiveness is like part of it, like, or enforcing that too heavy. Like there are, like, I don't know, examples like that. Like, like Unity not allowing pay in Slack channels or icon like emoji, but
Yeah.
and then lacking inclusion and diversity whatsoever in the companies.
Yeah. I mean,
like I've been there, I've done that.
I mean, okay, do we really
in
have
these
to
companies.
be inclusive of extreme right-wing people?
No, Pepe is not extreme right.
But it
It's
has been
used
hijacked.
it has been hijacked, and the guy
Yes.
that actually created that has a magnificent movie. There's a documentary, Saving Pepe, the creator of the character, basically. Otherwise, like, I can add the movie into the description. Really great movie, like, and how he's fighting all that. But in our country, like, we don't have that problem of extra. That's what, left wing, no, right wing, fundamentalists, or however you put that.
Extremists.
Extremists, yeah.
Well, it's at least it's not that obvious.
Yeah, at least that
Yeah.
Our politicians at the moment are like,
I'm pretty also sure that, at least once a year, the guys with red, white, and black flags with specific symbols on them march.
Oh yeah, we have that. It's not as big as it was before because, like, government did some stuff on that. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So corporate culture, toxic or unhinged.
Fair enough.
In this,
I mean, it
part of, let's
somehow it is that they somehow align on the extreme sides.
Companies?
Yeah.
They kind of tend to do that, at least where we are from. Then AI, is it unhinged?
Well, if you're talking about the lie machine, yes. I mean, it's
lie machine.
Yeah. I mean, we've created a lie bot.
Oh, the ChatGPT.
Yeah. You can make it lie really easily and pretty convincingly.
Well, I heard stories that it does tend to lie from time to time, and you have to fact check it. And you would,
from time to time, is a bit of an understatement.
I haven't been into that topic too much. I just know from the user's perspective, like, big tech in our country, like corporate stuff, is heavily relying on ChatGPT answers. Like, even for measurements or like data-driven approaches, like, I need this and this analysis done, and this should earn us, like, how do I put that into the report? Kind of way.
That's unhinged.
Yeah, that is.
That is unhinged. Because the thing cannot do maths. It's not built for doing maths. It's
in the name. It's language model.
Exactly.
It's not a machine learning, which is basically numbers and maths, or outcome A to outcome B and outcome C, and then so on and so forth.
You basically have a token prediction. So, what is most likely to come after another thing, and confusing that with reasoning is very dangerous, I think.
So unhinged, AI unhinged.
Machine learning. Totally. Machine learning. That's another thing. That's probably not as unhinged as it is dangerous.
That's a new one for me. How is machine learning dangerous?
Okay, so basically, it is a tool, like any tool, like generative AI, LLMs. It depends on how they are used. LLMs are dangerous in the terms of not fact checking them, assuming that what LLM says is true. And machine learning is a broader spectrum. So, like, you can use machine learning for facial recognition, for example, right?
Yeah.
And it has been done. You run the facial recognition citywide, and you look for criminals, and your machine learning algorithm starts targeting dark-skinned guys because it has an inherent bias because of the training set.
That would make sense. Like, if you have US per se.
Yeah.
And you have, like, huge generational racism problems.
Yes, you have systematic racism. And
well, systematic would imply that there is a system designed to persecute that. I think that's it. Like generational people, like like boys don't cry, don't cry. Like you from the young age, and give your kids a bias towards that, and then it reflects on your older life, and then you become a cop, and then you have all your preconceptions and misconceptions about a certain person, and then a group, and it becomes a generalization. So I wouldn't say it's systematic. I would say it's a problematic generational stuff.
Well, it's far-reaching for sure.
It's really far-reaching, like what I believe. Like we don't really have too many immigrants where we live, so we're kind of far away from that topic. But I see how it can be dangerous when you put it like that.
Yeah. So it's but Unhinged. I mean, not necessarily. I can program. I can teach a machine to recognize my car, and when it sees it from the webcam, it can start, opening the door for me.
Yeah, that's a very little use case that is quality of life rather than changing how everything works around you.
True, but then again, machine learning has been around for a long
yeah, it's
time.
really old.
Yeah,
like it's really old tech.
Yeah,
that's gaining popularity, and then LLMs are taking over.
Yeah,
from here. So Unhinged stamp put on that topic.
No, I'm not putting an Unhinged stamp on that topic. I think
on machine learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so AI LLMs
dangerous, Unhinged, mostly because it's fire these days. We have to put AI in everything. My shoes will soon have AI. I have had a dream a few days back. I think I was running a fever because that's the only way I can make sense of that dream. During the dream, as I was dreaming, my dream produced 2 layers of styrofoam. So one of the layers in the first half of the dream was, your normal styrofoam, and the second one was AI styrofoam. Whatever that means, I woke up very disturbed. I had no grasp on reality. My whole arm of the whole arm part of my hoodie was wet from my saliva because I was sleeping with my mouth open, and I was like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Get that AI shit out of my head. So yeah, Unhinged.
Okay. Me being an unbeliever in AI, like I'm a huge non-believer. I think it's a fad. Am I unhinged?
Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's not a fad. That's not going anywhere.
Well, I think in that more in terms of .com bubble. I think some will survive.
Some will survive, yes.
Because we have a huge economy of AI wrapper companies.
Yes. But I mean the
not
technology
doing
itself,
really anything.
The technology itself, it's not a fad. It's gonna run everything in.
But we had already like 3-4 AI winters.
Yes.
From the 70s onwards, I think.
Yes. I mean, but they happen for different reasons. And now, basically, the thing I see with generative AI is that it will make the dead internet theory come true. And as recent experiments by Meta with fake agents, fake agents will run rampant, and they will form opinions. They will influence people. They will sway the public, so to speak. And society, as we know it, is dead.
Like, you mean online society, not real society?
Real society as well. I mean, you have Fox News on steroids. You have the perfect propaganda machine. You have an echo chamber available at your fingertips if you're a state actor.
That is a scary topic.
It is.
It's a scary thought do you have.
Yes. But then again,
I'm like, I myself, like, I'm thinking, like, yeah, it will not pan out. Like, it will be a .com bubble 2.0. Like, the companies will die. There will be a tech that will be usable and will be effective and will help us all out. I don't believe in AI taking over the world. I believe it can be used and it will be used in
people taking over the world.
Yeah, might be, but I believe the tech will be used in good and bad ways.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I think
there is a sliver of hope here, right? If even if society as we know it is dead, this brings enormous opportunity for communities, for people that you know, that you meet in real life, that you share your life with.
the organic content,
The organic content, the
Yeah.
best one.
and then dead internet theory. I'm familiar with that. It's like where 80% of the internet is bots arguing with each other, and then
Yep.
having very little people interaction that is true and organic. Let's put it like that on the internet space.
Yeah.
Two guys sitting in the garage having a podcast on a dead internet theory. How unhinged is that?
Give me the stamp, and I will stamp the shit out of it. It's absolutely unhinged. That's crazy, and frankly, I'm very happy that we are doing this.
And then coming further than that, let me then collect my train of thought so I could get a wagon out.
Trains, by the way, also a very popular autistic topic.
I know. And when I said that, I immediately jumped to that you're gonna stop me there. You're an unhinged bastard. Now I have to recollect. That internet theory.
Yes.
Having a YouTube.
Yes.
And that being unhinged as a thought itself.
Yes.
Like having viewers for me after this pilot, because we're kind of wrapping up, is if anybody even watches that, like, dude, come join us. You are unhinged.
Yep. Drop us a line in the comments.
Yeah. And like your hopes, having hopes here, unhinged hopes. Like, would you say we are better friends after episode 50? Or we hate each other's guts? Let's start the countdown now.
Okay, so I don't have any fucking clue how that is going to pan out. I'm excited for the journey, not
Which
for the
is
result.
more unhinged? Which is more unhinged? Becoming better or closer friends?
It's both. It's both. It's both. I think becoming better friends sounds a bit more unlikely, but that's my negative bias. Having a big falling out, like get the fuck out of my face, could seem more likely. But that wouldn't be unhinged. That would be just sad.
That would be, that's sad.
Yeah.
So becoming friends is more unhinged to you as a topic than becoming an enemies or people that hate each other or don't want to have anything like connect with them anymore.
I mean, that's happened many times before. Let's make an exception here. Like let's or if we do, we have to decide which one of us is Roger Waters.
Are we going into the huge law battles for copyright?
Yes.
Do you think this copyright is worth that?
Yes, a huge legal battle, spanning years and years and costing millions of dollars, of Canadian dollars, of US dollars, or Zimbabwe dollars, over the trademark or over Unhinged. The word.
Questionably Unhinged.
Yes.
The channel on YouTube that I see now will be a very niche one.
Very.
Yes.
Very. My expectations for the pilot is 10 views.
You are over your head.
Maybe 2 likes.
You are way over your head.
I mean, I'm giving 1 like. Aren't you giving us 1 like?
Nope.
That's unhinged.
And you're not.
That's unhinged.
And you're not. And you know why? I am that's unhinged for you. I don't listen to podcasts. Like, no. Like, I have no idea how to run a podcast. I don't even consume podcasts. Except for, like, occasional Haberman. The scientist guy, the buff dude with the beard that talks about psychology and the science and psychiatry. I'm on L-tyrosine because of him. Because I want a dopamine boost. And he said that on his video explaining that. And that's probably the only part that I watch of his podcast. And I'm the guy suggesting having a podcast to another guy.
I don't see
that
how
is vaguely similar.
I don't see how that prevents you from liking your own video.
And there's a reason for that. And I will explain that offline because that's a nitty-gritty YouTube stuff. But
I'm still giving it a like.
No, you're not.
I don't give a fuck about integrity. Well, actually, I do give a fuck about integrity, but not about YouTube's integrity.
Actually, I don't.
Screw YouTube.
Like, okay, you remember the channel name, but I'm not giving you the password.
You are sharing the video, at least with me.
Yes.
Good. I'm liking it already.
So that's Unhinged. like imagine two guys like that is Unhinged.
It is.
Exactly my point.
Yes.
And then you're hoping for views is also Unhinged.
Then,
look, we are now.
Then I have
2 hours in.
2 hours in.
Yes.
Shit. We're not getting a single view.
Exactly my point. And that will go to post and then to upload. And then I'll have to do the creative work on a ChatGPT for posters, and we have a thumbnail.
Oh, I can try to do some stable diffusion shit.
Yeah, let's leave it for future, I guess. I have a few ideas there, but and a countdown to episode 50 to see if we are still friends.
You heard it here first. Episode 50, vibe check.
Yeah, vibe check, basically. A countdown, basically. Self-destruct countdown YouTube video. By YouTube videos, like 49 more episodes until self-destruct.
Until vibe check, and subsequent self-destruct.
Exactly. And I guess on that point, if you're still here, like, I don't know why.
But that's because you're unhinged, man. You're unhinged. You sat through this all. You heard it all, and you're still here. And what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and share what you think is Unhinged. Share how you are Unhinged if you're not afraid that your spouse
also,
or close ones will see. Drop a like and drop a subscribe. And I guess we'll see you on episode 2.
Invite your mom.